This is a conversation I'd like to offer you about devotion. It took a supreme level of devotion to build this castle stone by stone for years and years and years. Of course, the motivation was pretty severe as well. Pretty much it was death or somebody coming to take away something that you built hard to maintain or to retain for yourself. But with the Kundalini, that isn't necessarily on the line. Your life is not necessarily on the line, although sometimes it can be, depending upon how you respond to your Kundalini. I'm going to suggest that if you respond within a practice of devotion to the Kundalini, devotion to a Kundalini teacher if you have one, devotion in general will help you through the many levels of experience that the Kundalini awakening will bring. The reason why I suggest devotion is because of the level of love that is involved when we practice devotion. The more love you give, the more of yourself that you give, just like the stonemasons gave of this beautiful, beautiful castle. The more that you give of yourself, the more the Kundalini is able to fill in those spaces that have been cleared. It's very, very, very important for you to begin to accept and to love and to enjoy your Kundalini awakening experience, just as the people who lived here enjoyed the safety and the security of these castle walls to keep them safe from the enemies that they had abroad. This is an extremely old, ancient example of people protecting themselves from the environments. And I make the analogy of you protecting yourself from the many, many challenging experiences that one can have if one begins to resist or to fear the Kundalini. This is not something that I would suggest you do, and so I take the opposite tack with you. I suggest devotion. I advise devotion, and I would guide you towards devotion. Fall on your knees to your Kundalini and feel the love that she has for you. Feel the love that she, as the sacred mother, from the earth-based aspect of the femininity, feel the love that the Kundalini has for you. Feel the grace that is waiting to fill your spaces as you give of yourself to the Kundalini, just as the stonemasons gave of themselves and of their sweat and blood and tears into the formation of these walls. Come closer. Look at these walls. Look at this arch. How beautiful. And, over 1,000 years later, it still stands. May you stand for 1,000 years within your Kundalini awakening. Thanks for watching. This is a castle, this is called the Castle of the Rock, or Castle Roche, or Roque, however the people at the time would pronounce it. It was built in the late 12th century to protect the Anglo-Saxon settlers from the attackers from the south and from the west. there was great dedication in this and great planning. This is a three-sided castle with sheer drops on three sides. This is one of the most spectacular ruins Amelia and I have visited, and you might ask yourself, well, Chrism, why are you always, going to these ruins to talk about Kundalini? Good question. I see in the people of the past, a people who had no electricity, a people who had no of the many conveniences that we have in our world. I see a level of dedication, a level of loyalty, a level of devotion, a level of surrender that we don't see so much in the Western technological world. It's very important to remember that these are life and death situations here. We don't even have that kind of a situation, at least in the Western technological societies, Canada, United States, Europe, and some of the other, Australia, some of the other continents. There is indeed, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that today, 2013, that there is not strife going on. We only need to look at Syria and some of the other places that are a hot spot right now. Hopefully that will end quickly in the future for the people of Syria. But here we see what technological, for their time, 12th century technology had to offer for the protection and for the devotion of people in this part of the country of Northern Ireland. It would have been a welcome sight. You can see this castle from a long ways off. It's about 300, 400, 500 feet in the air. The level of craftsmanship of a Norman style I find to be very intriguing. I recognize it as Norman right off the bat, and I like these types of things. The Kundalini in me knows this, and it will find parallels between the people of this time period, the 12th century, and our current civilization. But it'll also see the differences. They didn't have electricity. They had fire. They had the wheel. They had an understanding of how to build an infrastructure and a castle, from the ground up. So they weren't stupid people by any stretch of the imagination. They were actually, in my opinion, quite smart. And they built it, and I can see Kundalini analogy here. I can see the level of devotion. I can see the level of craftsmanship. I can see the level of care that people took, to have this for themselves, to take themselves out of the environment or the weather, to protect themselves and to defend themselves from people who would take away what was theirs. And so this is why I tend to go to these ruins. I see a pattern from the past that we can bring into our present state. A level of care, a level of ingenuity, a level of artful design, a level of maturation of the soul through building this type of a castle inside of our heart, inside of our body. We are a castle of the rock being the Shakti, the castle pointing up to the Shiva, the sky, the sacred male. Build your castle as strong as these people built theirs, your Kundalini castle, and you will last for 1,000 years times 100. Thanks for watching.